Hello, what's up, YouTube family? So I wanted to hop on here to do a quick video. I just finished recording with Erica, my co-host for Girls to Queens podcast, and I wanted to discuss one of our messages in terms of energy management. And we dove into the topic of feminine and masculine energy. So that'll be a really great episode. It will air next week, and also the film and video will be on our YouTube channel at Girls to Queens. I will add that in the show notes. Now, in terms of energy management, I wanted to discuss how that correlates to disease and illness. And this is something that I am discussing in my book. So my book will be called A Survivor Story. I'm discussing my journey as a two-time cancer survivor and also how I correlate and connect what I do for a living in the health and fitness industry and what I see on a day-to-day basis in terms of lifestyles and just human beings in general. And I think energy management is a huge piece of the puzzle that a lot of us are missing. Yes, you can exercise all you want. Yes, you could work on your nutrition, and that's great. You're working on your health. But if you don't know how to manage your energy, you are going to feel completely depleted. And if you don't know how to go back and forth between the flow of masculine and feminine energy, you are going to feel like you're fighting against yourself, really. It's going to be much harder than to live your life and you know, hit those goals, or, your desires are meant to be easy. Like the saying, ask and you shall receive, right? But you have to be aligned. And so if you're not aligned with yourself and how you are on a daily basis, then it's going to be much harder to manifest those goals that you are, looking to acquire in your life. And now I wanted to talk about how it is correlated to disease and illness. If you're fighting yourself so much, right? And you're just in a negative space, you're in a negative space in your head. So your inner world is just swirling around in terms of like your nervous system being on just like fight or flight on a daily basis. And you let your thoughts control your emotions. And then there's like that back and forth that goes on there. And then you're not exercising, you're not eating right, you don't sleep, you don't drink water. I mean, you're asking for disaster. So if you feel like, you're putting those pieces to the puzzle together and you're still not able to get where you want, maybe you need to take a deep dive and go inward and figure out, am I truly at peace? Am I truly living out my purpose? And that has a lot to do with energy management. If you're leaking out your energy, this is science. It goes back to human evolution. If you're leaking out your energy, right, and you're just give, and you're not able to receive, illness and disease can manifest. It just takes, it may be the tipping point, and it may be a shorter period of time, it may be a longer period of time before this happens. But if you're not aware of that, it can be very detrimental to your health in the long run. Dr. Joe Dispenza, I will always refer to him. He speaks about the correlation between, what goes on in your inner world and your central nervous system and those thoughts in your brains, where you can turn them off. They don't need to be negative. So if you know that you have negative thoughts all the time, right, then why can't you turn those to positive thoughts? Why can't you turn those to being something that you can manifest positively? Or, for example, me and my cancer journey, I told myself, I don't have cancer. I'm not even going to enter into that realm. Like, whatever was going on prior, whatever was going on internally, like, I'm not that person anymore. And I'm not going to even allow that to enter into my energy and my field. Like, it's not happening. So if you are doing things out of fear, if you are, for example, if you're eating healthy out of fear, if you're exercising out of fear, because, and I see this all the time, especially with my nutrition clients, because nutrition is heavily correlated to your your psychological. So if, and your habits. So if you're constantly living out in fear, you wake up, you're like, oh God, like, what if I get high blood pressure today? Or, oh God, like I need to do this because high blood pressure runs in my family or cardiac disease runs in my family. You're doing that out of fear. And when you are living out of fear, it's going to be very detrimental to your health. So it's called the identity gap. And again, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this. So you have to close the gap of like fear, frustration, anger, resentment, and turn those into, once you close the gap, it's more of happiness and joy and living a life of fulfillment. And again, not every day is going to be happy-go-lucky. I definitely don't have a happy-go-lucky every day, but most of the time I'm happy and I'm like, oh, like, let's do this or let's do that. I'm living on my purpose. And, you know, I can live my life on my terms and my regards, and I'm not allowing anybody else to do that for me. That is where you will find a difference in your old life versus your new life. And so I just wanted to hop on here and talk about it because I've just been seeing a trend. I've been seeing a pattern with clients and just like human beings in general and how we live our lives. And especially in the youth, they're very like in their heads and they're not like able to just be kids and live their lives. And, you know, if they continue that pattern, their nervous system is going to be addicted to those chemical reactions that are happening in the fight or flight mode. And it's going to be ingrained in their nervous system. And it's going to be much harder to fix down the road, as opposed to learning about it now and being like, oh, I'm being aware and mindful of it, and then working it out. So that's really all I have for you guys today. I will dive a little bit more into the topic as we go through this journey of YouTube. And, you know, again, on our podcast, Girls to Queens podcast, Erica and I heavily discuss all of this and how each of these pieces of the puzzle of your, you know, your physical health, your mental health, you know, all your daily activities that you do, the consistency of it, how all of those plays a role into, you know, disease and illness, and how you can change that, because you can. So let's just put that out there. Just because you are maybe suffering or living in fear and doing all these things, you can change, but you have to be open and aware to it and know that you can change your brain chemistry. So I hope that helps. And we will dive further into the topic. I will link the show notes. I will put Girls to Queens podcast in there and all the other places that you can find me or Erica. And so I hope this helped. And until next time,